Soy Ellbat! Can you find the sponsor of today's video? Muy bien! It's Raycon! Thank you very much to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Before I get any further in the video, I do want to apologise for the way my voice sounds. I have a cold. It's not the big Rona, thankfully. It's just a regular cold, bog standard cold. I have one. It's in my nose. Now, if you're a subscriber of this channel, and I hope you are, if you're not, that was a test, and you failed it. If you would like to pass the test, very simple fix. All you gotta do is just smash the subscribe button down below. Beat it up. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is if you've been here before, you'll know that I recently tried out a period cup. Exactly what it sounds like. It's a cup that goes up your vagina. Very little sugar coating to be done on that one. If you'd like to check out that video, it is here. And I also did a 3-month review here on the second channel. That's right, I do have a second channel, like every other YouTuber in the world. So if you want to subscribe over there, feel free to do so. I'll try not to spoil that video too much for you, but short and short of it is that I loved it. I loved the period cup. It really helped me build a healthy relationship with my period. I don't think I'm disgusting anymore just for doing a basic bodily function that I have no control over. It's like we're undoing all the damage of the patriarchy. And so now I have a very healthy relationship with my period and an even healthier relationship with my wallet, because I no longer have to spend ridiculous amounts of money each month buying things to stop the bleeding. And so because that was such a success, I started to hunt for other products that would help make periods easier, not just for me, but for everyone. So the most popular alternative period product to traditional products was obviously the menstrual cup, which, you know, been there, done that. But coming in at second place as one of the fastest growing alternatives to traditional products, it's period panties. Panties. Does that word make anyone else want to throw up just a small amount? Now, period underwear is becoming incredibly popular. They're products that you can use either entirely on their own or whilst using another period product such as a tampon or a menstrual cup. And essentially, they're just underwear that can absorb period blood. It's kind of like a diaper or a nappy, as we say in England, except, you know, it's for period blood. And it's like quite a bit more fashionable. So there are so many brands that do this now, but the most popular is a brand called Thinx. Now, the reason I chose them is because they have one of the largest ranges of different kinds of period underwear. In general, I just found that their marketing and their models just seemed very real. It seemed very inclusive, and that's a good vibe. Now, the Thinx underwear range offers full coverage underwear, which can hold up to 4 tampons worth of blood. 4 tampons worth. That's like walking around with enough blood for a transfusion in your underwear. To a lightweight thong, which can hold half a tampon's worth. To boy shorts, which were their kind of alternative for trans and non-binary people who have periods. For them not to feel such dysphoria, it was a way for them not to have to deal with tampons or period cups, and they could just put on a boxer short and forget about it. So I obviously wanted to buy some of this underwear, and the main issue I had is that I originally wanted to order enough underwear to cover each day of my period. So I would have some heavy duty underwear and also some of the lighter coverage and kind of compare them and see how up to scratch they were. And then I ran into some problems. If you order off the Thinx website and you're in the UK, the shipping is astronomical, and you also have to pay duties and taxes when it comes into the country, and I'm not about to drop 200 quid on period underwear. So that kind of threw a spanner in the works. So instead I managed to use ASOS to order just 1 pair of this period underwear. Now, I chose to buy the boy short. Now, that's because I wanted this video to be as inclusive as possible and to be a review that could benefit not only, you know, traditional period havers, but my trans and non-binary people as well. Right, so now that's all out the way, here is what happened when I tried period panties for a week. So I just woke up, if you can't already tell from the fact that my eyes haven't opened properly yet. I'm going to put on this underwear now. I've not opened it yet, so I'm excited. The thing that I'm worried about is the feel, because it's not going to obviously feel like regular comfortable underwear, so I'm worried about like the texture, I guess. Got our little label. They can hold a moderate amount of blood, these ones. ASOS have rather healthily covered up the price of these. You cannot hide the pain that I feel for how much I overpaid for these. When they first arrived, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I guess part of me had reservations, and I thought that because the boy shorts particularly have quite moderate coverage, I thought they'd feel quite bulky. It's kind of like pads. They're very thick and you can really feel them on your underwear, and they're not the most comfortable a lot of the time. So I thought it would feel like wearing a pad, but like built in. Okay, so it feels kind of like swimming costume material. It's quite tight. It's very stretchy. So the bit where your period actually goes, like the gusset of the underwear, does kind of sound a bit like a nappy. It's kind of got that rigid papery feel. It is quite thin, so it might be that you can just feel it with your hands and make the noise, but when they're actually on, you can't feel anything. I'm glad I got the medium. They look like they're going to be a good size for me. So I'm going to put these on now, and we shall see. It really didn't feel chunky. I've got them on now, and it does kind of feel like wearing a swimming costume as underwear, but in like not in an uncomfortable way. They just feel very different to other underwear. They really are quite mobile. I feel like I could do some agility in these. I feel a bit like a superhero. Like, you know how the Incredibles have underwear, like black underwear on top of their suits? That's kind of what this feels like. It is kind of a vibe. Now don't get me wrong, you can definitely tell this isn't just regular underwear. You can feel that there is, you know, there's something else going on underneath the hood. Literally. But it doesn't feel at all like you're wearing a pad, and it certainly doesn't feel like a diaper. I don't know if the isolation was very good, so I'm going to try and show you the difference in sound. This bit's probably going to be a lot more effective if, you know, you wear an earbuds, just because the sound quality is going to be in your ear a bit more. And if you don't have earbuds, may I introduce you to Raycon, the sponsors of today's video. Raycon were kind enough to send me the Everyday E25 earbuds. I've been using them literally every single day. Kid you not. I love them. For starters, they are half the price of any other premium earbud on the market right now, and the sound quality is just as impeccable as brands that you may already know. They're so easy to pair that they connect seamlessly to my phone, so I can use them for FaceTime in one ear whilst pretending to edit on my computer. Tell you what else you can do on a computer. Go to buyraycon.com/Ellbat and get 15% off your first order. Lucky you. You guys know that I'm very fussy about the kind of brands that I work with on this channel, and I only ever partner with brands that I feel like would actually benefit you guys. And I just figured that as it was going back to uni season, and unfortunately a lot of classes, they're gonna be on Zoom, boys. Gonna be on Zoom. A really good pair of wireless earbuds that are half the price of other competitors on the market. I just thought that would be an amazing tool to help you guys get through uni, copious hours of Zoom calls. Plus, they also have a completely free 45-day returns policy. Go to buyraycon.com/Ellbat to get 15%, 15, off your first order, or alternatively just click the link in the description below. Thank you very much to Raycon for sponsoring this video, and thanks to them, you can all listen now to the sound of my rustling fabric. Aren't you lucky? This is the sound of the underwear that is not the period collection bit. Now this is the sound of the underwear that is the period collection bit. I really hope that was effective in demonstrating the difference of the materials, because otherwise it was just a really bad segue into an ad. So I'm going to wear these for the rest of the day. I'm going to try and do a bit of exercise in the middle somewhere, but just go about my day and see how they fare up. Again, this is only a moderate protection. It's the middle of what they offer. So I have kind of worn it just over halfway through my period, just because I didn't want to flood the gates, shall we say. So we're gonna give it a go and see how long and how well they fare up. My biggest worry is that it's gonna feel like wearing a wet nappy. I don't really want that. I don't think anybody does. So that is what we're gonna look out for. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. So the underwear actually lasted around 5 hours on that day, and I stayed completely dry. It was super hygienic. It doesn't smell at all in the same way that pads do. I was expecting that the underwear would get wet in the least gross way possible. I thought that it would work very similarly to a pad, where when you bleed onto a pad, it kind of stays damp. It's not the most hygienic, and I kind of thought this would be the same, where blood would kind of just pool and collect on the surface of the underwear. But that's not quite what happens. Okay, so I've been working for a few hours and I just went to the bathroom, and I was expecting somewhat of a Tarantino-style massacre within my underwear. But actually, it's all very tame. I guess I thought that the blood would kind of just like pile on top of the underwear, kind of the same way it does with pads, where you kind of just like see it and it's very there. But this doesn't feel like that. It feels very tidy. It feels like it's kind of sunk beneath the top layer of the underwear. So I don't really, like, it doesn't feel wet at all. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing a dirty nappy. Now, I don't know how it works. I'm just gonna say it's magic. It was almost like the period itself was going through the first layer and collecting on that papery kind of sounding fabric underneath, and the top layer that the period went through dried. And I don't know whether it's just because the underwear that I chose was black, but every time I went to the bathroom, the top layer of the underwear was completely dry and I couldn't see any period blood on it. That's some mad science. Where have you been all my life? When it got towards the end of the 5 hours and it started to get very full, obviously, then it did start to feel kind of damp in the way that a period pad would more traditionally feel when you bleed on it at all. But as soon as that kind of dampness started, I just changed out of them. The next time I wore them was towards the end of my period and it was overnight. I wanted to see if they were a good and viable option as an alternative to wearing like a pad overnight, because, you know, I don't know if it's just me, but night pads and me do not have a good relationship. They're not the most reliable of friends. So I wanted to find an alternative that would stop me feeling like I was waking up in a Tarantino movie. Very strong imagery there. So my camera battery died, so I'm filming this on my phone, you know, top quality YouTuber. So I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna just like wear them and hope and pray that it doesn't leak. It's a little test. I'm not gonna put a towel down because I like to live dangerously, but I may live to regret this because these sheets do be looking pretty white. Right, now I know that I only wore this underwear for 2 days during this period, and I know that they have so many different types of coverage and styles that very niche issues, like the fact that I like to have my underwear quite high up, so I would pull them up and the legs would kind of roll, which was kind of uncomfortable, is a very niche issue that wouldn't happen with, say, the thong, so I'm not going to include that in my general review. I'm not going to give it a negative on that front. I'm going to try and speak more generally. So obviously big positives is that it's very eco-friendly. Like I said in my last period cup video, pads and tampons are massively contributing to global waste because one of the main components is non-biodegradable substances, and there are a lot of plastic, particularly in the wrapping of pads and tampons, and they directly contribute to pollution in the oceans and landfill. So these are an excellent solution to help reduce waste, and that is a massive positive. Another massive plus is that they are inclusive and they are accessible. By that I mean, for example, the boxer short gives a very good solution to tampons, pads, and, you know, period cups that a lot of trans and non-binary people may feel, you know, dysphoria when using. So they offer a solution to a problem that a lot of people who have periods don't even think about, you know, because it's very specific for some people within those groups. I really liked that. I also mentioned that they were very accessible. Now, I say this because for a lot of people who have mobility issues or certain disabilities, using period cups and tampons is incredibly difficult. There's actually a lot of movement and coordination needed to use those products, and people with certain disabilities or mobility issues, they can't use them, and that means that they're often left with pads, which can be quite unsanitary at times, especially at night if, you know, you're rolling around. Like I said, night pads, slippier than an ice skating rink. Those bad boys, They do not stay put. So period underwear that you can just slide on and stays dry and sanitary and doesn't smell and also doesn't slide around so much in the night that you lose your coverage. They're a really great solution for people who can't use cups and tampons. Other pros were that they were super breathable, they were very comfortable, and despite my, preconceptions, they didn't feel at all like I was wearing a diaper, and I wore one of the most protective underwears that they have, and it was still super thin, super discreet, and super comfortable, which is pretty amazing. So all in all, very eco-friendly, very practical, comfortable, and actually stylish. Some of the thongs and more general use underwear on their site, I would wear just generally. Like, they're very nice. I didn't know period underwear could be sexy, but kind of feeling the vibe. Now, with all those lovely things aside, there is one main negative. The price. The period underwear is quite expensive, especially if you're trying to order it from the UK on the Thinks website, where postage is a nightmare, and also you have to pay import fees and customs duties, and even ordering on a UK site. This cost me over £40. Over £40 for one pair of underwear. To me, that's kind of ridiculous. Now, I'm very fortunate that I can business expense that, but for the average person, especially someone who comes from a low-income household, these products just aren't accessible. You can't justify that amount of money on one pair of underwear. That's like a whole week's shopping for a lot of families. Now, I understand that because technology to make these as breathable, comfortable, and sanitary as they are is probably quite expensive, and I understand that they can't lower the price point that much because it's great at the end of the day, and companies want to make a profit, but I just think it's a shame that they're just not more accessible. But that really is my only negative. I mean, obviously they are a little bit more bulky than regular underwear, but I fully expected that, and I actually found it quite comforting, so I didn't really see that as a negative. In conclusion, overall, it's an amazing product. I really enjoyed using period underwear, and I think I will probably buy a couple more pairs. I do think they are amazing. I'm just a bit sad that they are not accessible to a lot of people. I will leave a link to Thinks down below if you want to try them for yourself. Let me know down below, do you have any opinions on this? Would you give it a try for yourself? Have you already given them a go? Are you a hardcore period panty user? I'd love to hear you guys' opinions. I'm always interested in reading them. You're very insightful. I am going to try and do a giveaway where I send some of you lovely people some underwear from Thinks. Obviously, not this pair, because I've worn those. I would really prefer it if people who enter that giveaway are from low-income families or need the underwear for accessibility purposes. I'm not quite sure on the details of that yet, but if you would like to get involved, here is my Instagram. I will be putting any details about that on there, on my stories, so go ahead, follow, do all that. If you like this video, give it a cheeky little thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. It's a free world. You do you, boo. A huge thank you to Raycon, my angels, my sweet potatoes, for sponsoring this video. The link's in the description. Click on it. 15% off. Have a lovely day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Drink some water, hydrate, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Kisses to your mother. Maybe you want to spank it a little bit, maybe you want to spank it a lot. I don't know. I don't know how bad your day is.